Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This video tutorial is for students who are in Geometry Goal 1. We finally get to sink our teeth into Angle Addition. Now, before I start loading topics and spamming how you go through these, there are a few new vocab words. Yes, I know, more vocab is blah that I want to make sure we're aware of. So first things first, linear pair. That means you have two angles that make a line. So that's going to be two angles that make a line. So there's a line. Now I've cut it into two angles. That's a linear pair. That's all it is. Next up, we have vertical angles. Those are hard to define because I have a lot of kids who have trouble with it. But what you're looking, you have two intersecting lines. There's an angle that's across. There's an angle that's across. Those are vertical angles. There's an angle that's across. There's an angle that's across. That's vertical angles. Then the next two words I got to give you, you have complement and supplement. So complementary means you're going to add up to 90 degrees, and then supplementary means you're going to add up to 180 degrees. Supplementary in particular pops up over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to leave this up for a few seconds. Make sure you have these definitions in your notebook, and then we can start burning through our topics. Okay, so now we're ready. So what we're going to do, first we want to get used to our first two vocab words, linear pairs and vertical angles. So since linear pair makes a straight line, we have a whole bunch of choices. So I could say, angle 2 and angle 3. I could just as easily, if I wanted to, I could have said angle 3 and angle 4. Or maybe I was feeling frisky and I wanted to go over to the right, and I could say angle 5 and 8. That's a linear pair. There's kind of a lot to choose from here, and that helps students, I find. That gives them some amount of variety. Vertical angles are the ones that are across from each other, so 1 and 3. Angle 1 and angle 3. Those are good vertical angles. And again, there's a lot to choose from. I could just as easily pick angle 2 and 4, or maybe I wanted angles 5 and 7. There's a lot to kind of play with. The last thing is they say supplementary. So here's the last little bit for your notes. A linear pair is, since it makes a straight line, always supplementary. So rather than making things hard for you, I just figure, hey, what's the linear pair that I chose? Angle 2 and angle 3. So linear pair over here, what makes a straight line? We'll say angle 6 and 7. All right, vertical angles, let's keep it a little bit away. So we'll say angles 1 and angle 3. Pair of angles that are congruent. There's our next little bit. Vertical angles are always congruent. So vertical angles are congruent. See that symbol? It pops up a lot in geometry. So vertical angles are congruent, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to say angle 1 and angle 3. And those are the different permutations you're going to get for this. So over here, last one, vertical angles. Let's go over to the side. We'll say angles 6 and 7. Or no, 6 and 8, Ms. Dubois. Read what you're writing. Pair of angles that's a linear pair. We'll do angles 1 and angle 2. And then we want congruent. Congruent is our vertical angle, so I'm just going to copy and paste angle 6 and angle 8. All right, so that's getting us used to our linear pairs and our verticals. And look, now that we know which ones are congruent and which one adds to 180, let's brush up on our algebra skills. So let's see here. I like my vertical angles first because I'm just taking two things and I'm setting them equal to each other. So 10x plus 18 equals 13x. Well, I want to get the x's all to one side, so eeny, meeny, miny, mo, minus 10x minus 10x. 18 equals 3x, divide by 3, divide by 3x equals 6. Phew, that was nice and simple. Okay, next up I got to find z. Z is a little bit trickier, but remember, supplementary, that's a number. Supplementary is 180, so I can go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We'll do these two. So 10x plus 18 plus z equals that magic 180 degrees. Well, we just went through the effort of figuring out what x is. So what's 10 times 6 plus 18 plus z equals 180? And I realized I didn't give myself enough space. 10 times 6 is 60. 60 plus 18 is 78 plus z equals 180. So minus 78 minus 78, z equals 102 degrees. Okay, that's actually not too bad. This one, vertical angles again are the ones that I kind of like. So 9x plus 88 equals 106. And then we just solve. Minus 88 minus 88. 9x equals 18. Divide by 9. Divide by 9. X equals 2. Okay, so far so good. Next up, what do I want to do for my linear pair? Well, since the 106 is already there, I'll choose that one. So z plus 106 equals 180 minus 106 minus 106. Z equals 74 degrees. There you go. All right, let's take it a little bit further. Now we want to talk about angle addition, which is very similar to segment addition. Do you remember that topic that you spent all that time on? So again, I say it again, I'm going to put it in capital letters. We want to label everything, everything, okay? So ABC, ABC. So the big angle here is 71. And then we're told, see, measure. Measure of angle 1 is 39. So 39 plus something equals 71 minus 39 minus 39. X equals 32 degrees. There we go. Next one, the measure of angle 2 is 58. And then WXY. So the big one is 137. So 58 plus x equals 137 minus 58 minus 58. So x equals 79, I think. Yeah, x equals 79 degrees. Now this is the basic version, because you can see, because it has the word introduction. Now let's actually tick it up a little bit and go a little bit fancier. There we go. The measure of angle ABD is 89. The measure of angle 2 is 41 more than the measure of angle 1. Hey, that I can do. So x plus 41 equals 89. So there is my measure of angle 1. And there is my measure of angle 2. So that's 2x plus 41 equals 89 minus 41 minus 41. 2x equals 48. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals 24. That's the measure of angle 1. Is that what they're looking for? Yes, it is. So then we are done. Be careful which one they're looking for. 90% of the time, I'm pretty sure this topic will ask specifically for the x that you're looking for, but always be careful in case I'm wrong. ABD is going to be 110. Measure angle 1 is 64 more than the measure of angle 2. So x plus 64 equals 110. 2x plus 64 equals 110. Minus 64, minus 64, 2x equals 50, 46, divide by 2, x equals 23. That's the measure of angle 2. Are they looking for the measure of angle 2? Yes, they are. And so we are done. So now we started basic. We're starting to tick ourselves up just a little bit more. And now let's go DSA flavor. Ha 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 ha. Bisect is the angle version of midpoint. So since midpoint means middle, to bisect also means middle. That means you're cutting your angle in half. So BC bisects what? Bisects ABD. So this and this are congruent. Okay. And then BE bisects CBD. So those are going to be our setups. All right. Find the measure of angle. Oh no, the big angle is 108. All right. So finds the measure of angle EBD. So since this has been cut in half, what is half of 108? That is going to be 54. And now this is also 54. So what's half of 54? 27. So the measure of angle EBD is 27. Okay, but what if they don't give you something that's just that handy where there's 100 bisects in there? Let's look at this one, JKM. So that's going to be 116. NKM is 34. And then KN bisects LKM. So if this is 34, then this is 34. All right, and then find JKL. So this is the one we're looking for. So 34 plus 34 plus our unknown is 116. So 68 plus x equals 116 minus 68 minus 68. X equals 48 degrees. That's what we are looking for. This right here is a DSA question. They're not even subtle about it. All right. Next up, those fancy words from before, complement and supplement. So basic stuff first. Since this is a straight line, we know that it's 180 degrees. The measure of angle 2 is 142. Well, gee, gosh and golly, how hard can this be? What is 180 minus 142? That is going to be 38. All right. See, we talked about this before. That little box means that this is going to equal 90. So if this is 30 and this here is 90, what is 90 minus 30? Our angle is going to be 60 degrees. All right. Well, what if they start giving you variables? Well, we still know it's going to be 180 degrees. The measure of angle 1 is x minus 9. The measure of angle 2 is 6x. And please note, I have not stopped labeling sugar. I need all of my fizz widget with a name and a variable attached to it so that I don't lose my mind. So let's see here. This will be 6x plus x minus 9 equals 180. So that's going to be 7x minus 9 equals 180. So 7x equals 189. I'm starting to skip my steps, but what I did is plus 9, divide by 7, divide by 7. X equals 27. And is that what they're looking for? Find the angle measures. So you have to find both of them, I think. So the measure of angle 1 is 27 minus 9, which is going to be 18. The measure of angle 2 is going to be 27 times 6. Oh, Lord. So that's 120, 168. 168. There we go. This one, we're adding them up to 90. The measure of angle 1 is 5x, and then this is x minus 12. So 5x plus x minus 12 equals 90 because this is a right angle. These are complementary angles. So 6x minus 12 equals 90. 6x equals 102. Divide by 6, divide by 6. X equals 17. All right, is that what we're looking for? Nope. We need the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 2. Okay. So angle 1 is 5 times 17, so that is 85. And then the measure of angle 2, 17 minus 12, is 5 degrees. There we go. Okay. Now let's take it even a little bit further. Well, actually, no, this is actually dialing it back. This is easy. So complement is 90. What's 90 minus 48? 42. Supplement is 180. So what's 180 minus 26? That is going to be 154. Now 27, complement is 90. So what's 90 minus 27? 63. And then what is supplement? So that's 180 minus 36, which is going to be 144. All right, so far so good. So again, you want to keep in mind supplementary, complementary. Complementary is 90, supplementary is 180. If you're having trouble remembering the two, you actually can put them in order. C comes before S in the alphabet, and 90 comes before 180 in the number line. So it actually lines up pretty neatly. And then last one, I believe this is a DSA question. No, I don't think so. But remember how vertical angles are congruent and a linear pair is supplementary. Supplementary meaning 180. Those two facts now are going to work in our favor. So if the measure of angle 1 is 113, without even thought, we know what the measure of angle 3 is, 113. The shock! How easy was that? Next up, what is 180 minus 113? 180 minus 113. 80, 113. That's going to be 67, which means this is 67. So once you know the measure of one angle, you automatically know the measure of all the other angles because your vertical angles are congruent. And then you do 180 minus, so it's going to be 84 and 84 because 180 minus 96 is 84, and then vertical angles are congruent. And this is why you label things, because suddenly a lot of stuff makes sense. And once you get comfortable with the fact of which things are equal and why, this just suddenly becomes a breeze. And geometry is about that. Once you understand a couple of basics, geometry will expect you to remember them, to fill them in later. So, next up we have some miscellaneous topics I couldn't fit together. We'll talk about those, and then we'll wrap up with our next round of videos. As always, stay happy, stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.